No matter how much you know about your subject, no matter how much learning that you do, no matter how on top of current trends you are, no matter how much you know the future of what it is that you can do, no matter how well you can teach, no matter how much money your school has, no matter how many classes you have signed up for, you will not have a job if you don't have any students. So, in order to be successful, spend more time in front of your students and working with your students to assure that they're getting the most out of your classes as possible. The best way to do this is to spend your time outside of the classroom preparing for the classroom. That's right, it seems kind of strange, but regardless of how much you know or how strong your plan is for how you will teach the material when you get into the classroom, spend a little bit more time outside the classroom preparing. When you come in and you're confident, you know all the materials, you can answer all the questions, that confidence is radiated out to the students. That positive confidence moves itself forward in such a way that the students know they can ask you anything. And once they know that they can ask you anything, then you open the world up to all manner of questions, all manner of ideas, all manner of possibilities. So, if you're supposed to be spending more time outside of the classroom working on the materials that you present and the knowledge that you have, when is a good time to learn this stuff? When is a good time to focus on finding new material? When's a good time to focus on learning new techniques or finding out what other industry standards are? The easy answer is you should be doing that all the time. Believe me, a person who is seeking out a career in teaching is passionate about what they do. They really do care. They're on top of it because they're interested in doing that work. They're on top of it because they know what the new trends are. But how can you know these trends? How can you know what's working? How can you see what's going on? The answer is to have your eyes open all the time. In your spare time, just for fun, learn what the new trends are. Read about the topics that interest you related to what it is that you teach and the classes that you have. See if there's new software. See if there are new ways to apply practically the knowledge that you have. As before, when I urged you to benchmark other people who are doing their job well, how do you know who's doing their job well? Read about your subject, subscribe to news lists, RSS feeds, technology that hopefully doesn't exist at the time I'm recording this podcast, for getting the latest information. Be aware everywhere you go, all the time, that there may be people that are talking about your subject. You may see examples of it in use. Be aware of those things and truly take them to heart. And where's a good time to find out about these? Well, a phone or an Apple Watch or mobile device is available pretty much anywhere you turn around these days. So what can you do with that? When you are at lunch, when you are on an airplane, when you are waiting for a show to start, when you're talking with someone at a party, when you're speaking with another professional, any of these times are great times to talk about current trends. Have they seen any good ways of doing this? Have they gone to an exhibit in which it was used? Have they been to any professional development or training in which these topics were discussed, in which you might learn something new? Are there any new items out there that they should be aware of? Keep these things all front of mind. Now, this in no way means that you need to shake down every single individual that you find for information. You don't need to corner someone while they're waiting at the ATM to get their money. You don't have to stop parents in the car line at school to find out if anybody has heard anything new. But a prudent researcher keeps their eyes and ears open all the time. When you read a newspaper, what's a newspaper, Mr. Dockery? Don't answer that question. When you read the news, when you watch the news, when you listen to the news, when you hear people talking, when you watch videos, when you read pages, when you research other materials, the clever educator keeps their eyes and ears open at all times and is sensitive to any piece of information which may allow them to learn more about their craft and more about their studies. We all want to be the best. There's no one out there who wants to be a mediocre talent, and as such, we all have the ability to make it happen. Pay attention to your friends, your students, local trends, individuals who are talking, and of course the news and social media. Find what's happening and be aware. But don't stop there. Get outside your comfort zone. Get outside the group of individuals that you normally talk with and you normally discuss your research with. Get out. Find new groups of people to talk with. Perhaps find one individual within your group and see what groups he or she is hanging out with. What research is she working on? See what you can do. Always keep an eye on the trends and ideas that will directly relate to you, your industry, and what you're teaching. To do this effectively, take a genuine interest in other people, in what it is that they do, in how they approach their problems, what kind of problems they are facing. Have they heard about your industry? Have they heard about what it is that you teach? Do they have any ideas? Ideas can come from the most unlikely of sources. But remember, people are the answer. In another portion here, we'll talk about how to quickly and easily communicate what you teach and what your industry is. Have you ever purchased something new? Let's say a particular color of car, or perhaps a book that seems to be somewhat popular. But then, everywhere you go, every single week, you are noticing that car with that color, or you are seeing that book or hearing people talk about the book. It is the exact same thing with being on the lookout for researching new ideas in how to present, what to present, and how to get to know more about your particular interest. As soon as you start, you'll notice that you can't really seem to stop. Spend enough time doing it, and it will become as if a second nature. It'll be something that's happening in the back of your mind all the time. This is very similar to how many military men feel when they spend a great deal of time learning how to orientate themselves on the field. Using a compass, in the beginning, they have to count their steps, blocking out everything else from their mind so they can count just how many steps they're taking. But over time, they seem to find they can compartmentalize that so that while one part of their mind is counting their steps, another part is working on the task at hand, until eventually they'll find, if they think hard about it, they know how many steps they've taken from every particular corner, even when they didn't begin to count. The same can happen to you. Keep your eyes and ears open at all times. Researching can come to you. To apply this knowledge today, strike up a conversation with two people within your department or division about topics that you are interested in the research of the class that you teach. Also, talk to two people that you have never met before. Strike up a conversation with them and really pay attention to what it is that they're discussing. And by that I really mean what you are discussing. In the beginning, it will take a great amount of time and effort to strike up a conversation with someone you've never met before, and be easy, or at least in the beginning, appear to be easy, striking up this conversation. But as time goes on, as you take a genuine interest in them, you'll come to find that, just like you, they're very smart, very likable people with a very solid purpose. But when you are doing this, if the conversation seems to move over into what it is that you do or what classes it is that you teach, perhaps you will find very quickly and very easily that that information becomes a fast and easy route to learning more. Again, while it may seem odd, before you know it, it will become like a second nature to you. And then, what a powerful tool you'll have at your disposal. The constant ability to be on the lookout for new trends in what it is that you teach, and to be able to strike up conversations and constantly find yourself on the lookout for better tactics, better research, and better ways of presenting the material to people in a way that matters. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I urge you today, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on a single one of our videos. I also urge you to blow up that like button. Just absolutely destroy it. Down in the comments below, I'd love it if you leave me a note. And, as always, design your future.